Okay, please go to setup, create object, and then see what all objects you can see there. What all objects are listed?
So merchandise.
Is there only one object listed there? Yeah, okay. So that's the one that you created. All right. Let's do a quick thing. Let's delete that object. Now we'll just need to delete this object. Please delete the object. All right. Now next, once you have deleted the object, go to setup, create apps, and look for the warehouse app and delete this as well. All right. So what I want you to do is, what I want you to do is go to setup, create object, delete the object, go to setup, create apps, warehouse app, delete the warehouse app, delete the merchandise object. Just type done, or something, give me some signal on the chat window so that I know that you are done with this step, so we can proceed further. Deleted both the things, Abid? Good. Nice. Shanmukhi, please confirm if you are done with deleting. Okay, great. Now the next thing that we have to do is, I want you to create these two things again. Okay. So the first time you created, you used a shortcut, quick app, right? So now I'm not going to use that shortcut. We will take another method of creating it. All right. In case you have deleted the object, just go to the setup, create object once again. I just want you to go to the setup, create object once again and tell me what do you see there. Do you see the merchandise object? So if I go to setup, create object now, what will I see? One deleted object. Merchandise object is not there, but there is one deleted object here, right? Which means whatever you delete, just by clicking on that delete does not actually delete that object. Got it? So even though you have deleted it, but this object has not yet got deleted. It is still here. All right. You have to erase it to finally remove it from the database, or you can undelete it, because sometimes by mistake also we can delete certain things, right? So now what we have to do is we just have to erase it. So all that we have to do is we just have to make sure that we erase it. So just go ahead and erase it. Shanmukhi, you did do it from your end. I'm not doing it. So because this is an object is a very important component of the database or the Salesforce application. So for object, even if you delete an object, it does not get deleted, and same goes with the field. Even if you delete a field, it does not get deleted. It goes and gets stored just in another location, it shows you as deleted, but it's like moving your emails into trash. Finally not deleted, just moved into trash. In case you want to recover those objects or the fields or something, you can do that, right? It still gives you an option. But the same thing is not applicable for apps. If you see, the moment you've deleted apps, it's gone, it's not there anymore. All right, because app is just a user interface. Why there is difference between an app and object, and what is the difference? App is just a user interface, just a screen. Even if you delete it by mistake, it does not take any data along with it. Got it? App is just the user interface. It takes you 2 minutes to create that app once again. Even if you delete it by mistake, you can just invest 2 minutes and you can create it again. But my object or the table which I'm talking about, table is the container for data. So when I'm deleting a table, it's actually deleting my data as well. That is the reason why table is not deleted at in one go. You need to go and finally erase, so that all the data and all the fields and everything of that table is deleted along with the table itself. Makes sense? Simple logic, very simple logic. Why things are different in terms of delete. I actually want you to understand this logic, not just to understand the delete part, but also to understand how these two components are different, and what is that app component and what is that object component. Got it? Object is the database table in the backend, which is on the other layer, the model layer, and app is just on the view layer. Out of of the MVC framework, app is on the view layer, and the database is in the model layer. All right, so I hope that part is clear for everyone, right? Good. Nice. Now the other thing, we will go back and we will create the merchandise object again. We have deleted it. Now let's create it from the other approach. Last time, what you did is you just created an app and an object. This time I want you to take a different approach for doing the same thing. Just go to setup, create object, and say new. Please do this, new or new custom object, something like that. Just go to setup, create object, and then click on new. Shanmukhi, you just have to go to objects and erase it. Yeah, you have done that. So just click on new custom object. Please click on new custom object to delete it. Sorry, not to delete it, to create a new custom object. Please click on new custom object, put a label and a name. So what was the name of my object? Merchandise, right? I'm just creating the same one, so just call it merchandise. So you can have the same label and name, no problem. Name is what will be used for the programming. All right, and label is more like what will be visible on the view. All right, so that's the difference. Label is more like a nickname. All right, our friends call us with the nickname, but name is what is actually there in our identity cards and stuff like that, right? So same way here, name is what will be used in programming. Name of an object has to be unique, um, so that while I refer to some object while I'm writing a program or a code, the system does not get confused. But label is something which can be anything. It can have spaces, it can have whatever you want. All right, so name cannot have spaces. Okay, got this? Simple, easy, cool. So we have got this setup, create object, new custom objects, merchandise. All right, that's there. Now, what's the other thing that we want to do? We have to, once we have created the object, please let me know. Just put the label name and save it. Don't do anything else. Just put a label and name and save it. Just don't need to get into anything else. All right, leave apart all those options which you see on that page. Just forget about them. Create it, save it. Let me know once if done. Created the object? Yes. Shanmukhi, how about you? Created the new object? Okay, just let me know once you're done.
Was it in
I can hear you. Your voice is very low. Huh, I think you have created.
Yeah, I'm activating.
Great. Your voice is very low. If you can come a little closer to your microphone or if you can type in, it will be better. Just yes, no. When it's done, you can just type in yes. All right. So we have our object once again created, right? So what we have done just now, we have created a database table. I just want you to understand, what we are doing now. So we have created a table in the database which can hold information, all right, which is a good thing. But for information, I can have multiple fields, right? Merchandise name is there. I can have other things like price of the merchandise. I can have, quantity. What is the stock I have. So these things are also required, right? So let me go to the merchandise object, and so if you click on this merchandise object, you will get to see all the fields of that object. You already might be, once you've created and saved the object, you might be seeing this screen, right? This is the detail page of the merchandise object. Here you have all the fields of the merchandise object, correct? Here we have all the fields of the merchandise object. Just go ahead and see. The fields are listed. By default, you will see that there are 4 fields already listed on this object. You see this, right? Created by, last modified by, owner, merchandise name. What if I want more fields here? See, created by is a system field, last modified by is also a system field, owner is also a system field. The only field that I can fill in information is the merchandise name field, right? Apart from this, whatever field I need to create that from here. So this custom fields and relationships, click on new and create a field. So let's create a field called price. So we understand what's a field in a table, right? It's like a column of data. So new custom field, call it price. And the data type for price will be currency, right? So all that we have to do is we just have to create the new custom field called price and the data type will be currency, correct? Just create the field. While creating the field, just pick the data type as currency, name the field as price, label also can be same, and then just go ahead, keep on clicking on next and save it. Don't worry about what all steps are there. Just go click on next and save it. We'll talk about all those things, whatever you see, you just don't need to worry about anything there. We are going to talk about that, but later. Today we are just focusing on what a object is and the field is and all that stuff, right? Field created. Good. Okay. How about you, Abid? Done? Created the field price. All right. No problem. Just take time. So we'll just wait for a couple of minutes for Abid to complete it.
What did you cover yesterday?
Sorry, what is that?
What did you cover yesterday?
Personal settings, company information setting, and we talked about the other objects. Remember the previous session we were just done with the topics of till opportunities, no, till contacts, and after that opportunities till products we discussed. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna upload that video session and share the link with you, and you will have some time to go through that. Fine. So that's completely different from what we are talking today. So that was more on the setup part, configuration part. All right. Okay. So Abid says he's also done. Great. Cool. So now I have two fields here. Okay. You must have noticed that there is, a segregation of the fields. There are standard fields. So the first four fields which are listed as standard fields, the one that you created is under the custom fields option, right? Can you just guess what can be the difference between standard and custom field? Why some field is called standard, some field is called custom? You can see in that object, right? The first four are standard fields, and the one that you created is a custom field. Why is there a difference? What might be the logic behind that? Yes, very correct. So your logics are pretty correct. Object says standard is built in, and yeah, customers user created. Absolutely correct. Standard is something which comes by default from Salesforce. Why is it called standard? Because it is standard across all Salesforce clients. You create an object in your Salesforce org, or I create an object in my Salesforce org. Standard fields will be there for everyone, right? Custom fields are the ones which completely depend on you. So those are by default. Default things will be there for everyone. That is the reason why those are standard. Okay, and you see that you do not have an option of deleting those as well. So anything which is standard, which has been provided by Salesforce, we cannot delete that. Got it? So that comes under the standard Salesforce, architecture, and we cannot delete that. So whatever is the standard part, we cannot delete that. Custom fields we can create, we can delete. Correct. So if you see, you have a delete option for deleting the custom field that you just created. You do not have a delete option for deleting the fields which were by default there. You do basically you do not have an option of deleting the standard fields. You cannot say that I will delete created by or I will delete the name field and all that. Yeah, you definitely have an option of deleting the custom field that you just created. Correct? So standard fields and the custom fields. So this way, depending on your requirement, you can add as many custom fields as you want. Standard fields are fixed; they will just be four. You will not have any more standard fields. And custom fields can definitely be deleted based on your requirement, as I said. All right. Okay. Now let's say we are done with creating of the object. This way, as I told you. Okay. So we are done with creating the object, right? So as I told you, you can have whatever number of fields that you want. You can keep on adding the fields that you want, all right? Uh, Now let's say you just want to go ahead and create the app. App also we deleted, so we have to create the app. So let's quickly go and create the app. But before you create the app, there is one more small stuff that you have to do. You have to create a tab for object. Okay, what is the difference between a tab and an object? In our session we have seen that there are so many tabs also available here, no? These are all tabs, right? This is a tab, this is a tab, this is a tab, this is a tab. So these are all tabs, right? What is the difference between a tab and an object? Like account tab and account object. There's a table in the back end called account and there's a tab here in the front end called account. What is the difference? Is there any difference or same thing? Anyone? Tab is just a button on the UI, on the view layer. What is a tab? It's just a button on the view layer. That's it. And object is actually a table, right? So what we need to do is we will just need to create a tab, and tab is actually required because I cannot directly see the database in the backend. So I need a tab to interact with that table. All right. It's like if you have a fan installed in a room, you need a switchboard and a switch always to operate the fan, right? You cannot directly operate the fan. You need a switch. So tab is like that, right? So to create a tab, we just have to go to create a tab. We just need to go to setup, create tab. Okay. Abid has a good question. He says, can we view an object without a tab? You can view data without a tab through some other object. All right. So if you have account and under that account you have contacts, so through account you can see the contacts which are under that account, but you cannot directly go into the contacts object. So let's go to setup, create tab. Okay. So in that setup, create tab, just click on new custom object tab, the first option that we have, and then all that you have to do is, so I want you to just go to setup, create tabs. Here is this option. Just click on new custom object tabs. I want to create a tab for my object. Just click on new. Which object you want to create the tab for? Select that object. In case you want to do it for merchandise, just select that. Tab style, you just pick anything. This is just a combination of an image and a color. Alright, so you can pick whatever you want and click on next. Just keep on clicking next, next, and save it. Let me know once done creating the tab. Done creating of tab. Just select the object for which you want to create the tab. Here we just have one option, which is merchandise. Click on next and save it. Let me know once done. Great. Abid, done. Please let me know if you are stuck somewhere. Great, cool. So tab is created, right? Now I have a tab, I have the object in the backend and I have a tab to connect to that object, right? Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create an application. I will create an app and include the tab in that app. So just go to setup, create app. So, basically what I wanted to understand is these are all separate components, right? First of all, I've created the backend component. You can go either way, you could have created the app first and then the object and then the tab. And now what I did is I created the component for the backend database table first and then I created a tab for it and now I'm creating the app. You just take the approach that, that sounds more suitable to you. I'm now just going to create this app, all right? And in that app, I will put my tab, which can connect me to the object. Got it? So just go to setup, create app, and this time call the create new app and call it warehouse app. So just name and label it warehouse. That's what you have to do. Just go to setup, create apps, click on new, custom app. Yeah, make sure that you're selecting custom app. We'll talk about console later. Put a label and name for the app. So call it warehouse. Then go to next. Already did that. Okay, you already created that. Okay. Just keep on going to next. On this step 4, you just have to do a small thing. Okay. On step 4 of creating an app, you just have to do a small thing. That is, include the tabs that you want to see under this app. Home tab comes by default. Any other tab that you want from here, accounts, campaigns, leads, opportunities. I want merchandise tab to be displayed here. So what all tabs you want to see under this app, you just have to select those, right? So that's the only thing that you have to do. On this step 4, you just have to select which all tabs. So whenever you are creating an app, you should, it's a good practice that you create your objects and tabs first and then create the app and include those tabs in this app, all right? And again, as I said, we can go the other way around also depending on the requirement. Okay, and pick the default landing tab. Now there are two tabs, which will be the default landing tab for that app. Default landing tab means when someone enters that app, which tab he lands onto by default. So by default is home. If you want, you can make it merchandise also, but anyone who is coming into that particular app by default lands on the merchandise tab, all right? and after that next and save. That's it. To make it visible here, that's the only thing that you have to do. On step 5, make sure that you make it visible, otherwise you will not be able to see that app, and then click on save. So that's done. So my app is ready. My app has the tab that I wanted to display there, right? We have created the database object in the backend. We have created the tabs for the tab for the object. I created an app and I included that tab in that app, right? Now my end user, to access merchandise details, he will just need to come to the warehouse app, and after that he can click on this tab, and after that he can click on new to enter new merchandise details. See, name and price. You could have had 10 more fields here. Um, the other thing is you can always look into the list of existing merchandise, edit them, and whatever you want to do. Clear? All right. So that's all we are going to do today.